it's okay. What do you think, buddy? Think I can disturb your mid-morning breakfast and drive through the gate so I don't keep feeding mosquitoes here? What do you think? Think that'll be okay? Alright, have a few more mouthfuls, then I gotta drive the truck through, okay? Then you can come right back. Alright? Okay, buddy. Well, it's maintenance day here. Gotta mix up a little chainsaw gas. As you can tell, I've added the thermocell to the old Hill People skier chest pack here, because the mosquito season is in full swing. Looks like we have a good herd this year, especially if the rain last night. They're out strong and heavy. So get that gas made up for the chainsaw. I'll mix that as it bounces around on the tractor. Now I got to change out the anti-chain wrap guard here, or whatever you want to call it. I swear they make these things out of some sort of chintzy aluminum, because they don't hold up for very long. And so I've got two. Put one on now, and then I'll throw the other one in the old maintenance box. They're not too hard. Just get in here with the old Allen wrench that's provided with the chainsaw. Most of the time I can get them on and off without taking the chain and the bar off. Let's see if I get lucky this time. Oh, yep, there it goes. And you can see this one's kind of worn down. Let's see if I can untwist the wire from the old hardware store. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Get out the old Leatherman. Snip it. So now I'll install a new one. And you can't screw up too bad, because there's still goes right side up, and there's an indent there that it has to fit into. Just drop that back in. Tighten that back up. And there, it's back on. What that does is, if the chain does come off the bar, it's supposed to stop it so it doesn't keep wrapping up around. I have heard of people having the chain go back up around on their hand. That probably wouldn't be a very fun situation. So keeping track of these guards or stops or whatever you want to call them is a good thing. So, all right, get this wrapped up, and then we'll get on to some other work today. Okay. show you why I call it the porcupine feeder. I'm going to snake our way through there, so when we get closer, I'll bring you back. And here it is, the deer blind, also known as the porcupine feeder. As you can see, over the years, porcupines have been determined to tear this thing up. They even ate through the aluminum flashing in some spots. Determined to get into the plywood. Apparently something to do with the glue and the plywood. They just love to devour. You can see all the chew marks here and there. We had to replace aluminum flashing in spots and holes. The base of this thing is just an old double wide motorcycle trailer that I got on the cheap. When we first started out, it just had a pop-up blind on it, and then as I had scrap materials left over from this job or that job, we kind of built this shelter on it, hold in some of the heat, made it a little more comfortable, gave us a spot to sit and wait for deer, take naps. Did harvest the doe out of here. That was kind of special to me. It was one deer season right after my dad passed away, so I was using his old Winchester Model 94. The only deer I ever took with that gun, so that was kind of a cool thing. But since we're going to kind of be clearing out the area behind here, I need to get this thing out of the way. So it's going to be a matter of lifting it, pulling out blocks, lowering it, then going to the other side, same thing over and over again. Looks like we got some junk in front here we're going to have to get out. Might have to pull some of this tin off, so I may have to go back and get some tools for that. We'll see. And if the whole thing falls apart, I think it served its purpose. Really didn't cost me a whole lot. Most of this is scrap wood, and I can always recycle a bunch of parts and pieces and build something else with it. So let's see what this adventure turns into. And I'm sure wherever I move it to, the new porcupines will love it, and they'll want to chew on it too, just like their kinfolk did in this spot. So let's see. Alright, let's get inside, empty things out. Looks like this last little bit of windstorm popped the plexiglass out, or else the porcupines did, because I see some of their droppings left behind. Thank you, Mr. Porcupine. Yeah, this is the old Shangri-La of the deer blinds. See, the heater got knocked over. I don't know if anybody was going to sit in that chair anymore. This one's still standing. Well, let's empty it out and get this thing moved. Didn't want to come out of there. It select its new home. Okay. Guys are gonna have to put up with idling tractor because it's getting sticky, and I think I'm gonna keep the AC on while I'm getting in and out. Let's see if we can lift. Move a couple of blocks. Lower. Repeat. What is that? Rinse and repeat. Something like that. So, not exactly sure where I want to grab this thing. I'd like to get both forks underneath there. What I have to do is go forward. On the back, so we don't have to worry about smashing that into a tree. It's always a good thing. Didn't probably go forward far enough. Alright, we got a little space between the trees here. Be a whole lot easier than when I originally put this thing out here. I did this all with a jack. That was no fun, but the box wasn't on it at that point, so it was a little lighter. Hopefully this whole thing doesn't tumble over, do something silly on me. Get up close. Pushed it a little too far. There we go. Up. Alright. So now we'll hop out, pull on some blocks. Now I'll have to go get a pallet from the other side of the farm. I can put these blocks all on it. Yes, I'm going to go around, not underneath. I know, it's safety. Bad boy down and see what happens. Well, that wasn't too bad. I think I'm going to put you guys out in the pasture and let you watch in a speed up version. And yes, I'm wearing the hard hat even though I'm not cutting trees. If something falls off this thing, I don't want to get clunked in the head. Alrighty. You can see it's back on its wheels. So now I just need to pull the rest of these blocks out. somehow lift up the tongue. And since there's no coupler on the front, we're going to have to rig up some chains. Hopefully there's enough air in the tires that it'll still wheel. That could be an adventure in itself. Looks like I'm going to have to bring the driver out, pull off that piece of tin that was covering up the tire. So a few more adventures and then we'll get it rolling. That could be an adventure all on its own. And yes, I'm old and carrying them one at a time. Okay, let's go get a pallet for the block. Then we'll get a nut driver or the drill with some bits. Pull that piece of tin off so that isn't such a pain in the butt. Then we'll see if the safety chains, we can grab those off the tongue, wheel that thing out of there. It's actually going easier than I thought it would. I figured by now it'd be laying on its side and I'd be picking up pieces. So, all in all, I'm calling it a win so far. So, I'll bring you back when we get back out here. There's another hack. You happen to have pallet forks, and you can get your hands on some either cheap or free pallets. Pick them up. They come in handy. Believe it or not, all this junk, or good stuff as my dad used to say, is all sitting on pallets. So whenever I have one less iron in the fire, I can pick the stuff up, move it where I need it, or move it to a better place to store. But all sorts of things can be palletized, moved around the farm. If I ever do get a barn / shop, stuff inside there can be palletized, so I can come in with the pallet forks, move stuff around. So if you got pallet forks for your tractor or for your bucket, if you have one of those bolt-on extensions and you know where you can get some free pallets, it's a good thing to have around the farm. It makes life a little more organized, and that's being organized is where it's at. Got some tools, got some pallets. I think I'll take this big pallet off the bottom, use a smaller pallet for those blocks, or maybe not. Maybe I'll go the other. No, I'll go with the smaller pallet, keep all that load condensed. Let me get that stuff moved around and then I'll bring you back. Okay, with these small or smaller compact tractors, big thing you got to remember, if you're using pallet forks for lifting stuff, you want to try to keep the weight as close to the tractor as possible. You get out there, that's a whole lot more leverage. And if you remember your rule, give me a lever and big enough I can move the world, well, same thing goes for a tractor. You get all that weight out there, even with the ballast stocks in the back and the weight of the tractor, still want to tip forward. So when you're moving stuff around, keep the weight close to the front of the tractor. Same thing with logs. I try to roll the big logs back. Brush, it's not so bad because it's more bulk than weight. So like these blocks, I'm gonna majority of the weight close to the rack. Also, I'm not going to be bouncing these across the farm. They'll probably get stashed out here in this pasture in case we get another project they're going to need them, or if this thing survives the trip and I want to raise it back up, I have the blocks out here to do it. There. I'd like to get these blocks out before I come in with the tractor. Let's see if this tongue jack still works. We'll wheel it in. And then we'll lift up this front end. Then I can slip out some of these blocks without having to bring the tractor back in. And please excuse the coughing. Thermocells are great for keeping the bugs away, but inhaling that stuff after a while, especially when you got your face right on top of it, not so good. But so far I haven't been beaten by the bugs today, so that's a good thing. They're trying. Let's see, can we get that to lock? Alrighty. Let's see. Well, this lays up the front end. Then I can come around with the pallet and get the rest of the blocks out of here. And then we can see what we can do for trailering this thing. Well, that looks like it'll get them out of there. So let's move the tractor. Alright, let's grab the tool bag, get this piece of tin off of here, see if it saved the tire from weather checking, so it still holds air when you get it out of here. Looks like I got a little mixture of everything. I got some Torx here. I got some sheet metal screws. Let's see if we can get these Torx out first. That's that one. Well, don't lean on that. That one. Throw those into the old bit box so I can frustrate me on another job. Let's see what side. There we go. Get the sheet metal screw out. Put that in the bit box to it. Let's get this all out of there. Pack this up. Put the gloves on so I don't cut myself the tin. Alright, that tire looks like it's still holding there. And more porcupine graffiti. What they left over of the aluminum flashing when they were trying to eat it. Okay, let's put these last few blocks on. Got 3 more under there. Okay, these last 3 stack up like this, keeping that weight back towards the front of the tractor. If that doesn't make sense, it means I'm keeping the weight close into the front of the tractor instead of way out away from the tractor, so it doesn't work on it like a lever. Alrighty, let's lift this and move it, stash it someplace out here. Okay, we got it partway turned using the grapple and the pallet forks. Probably not the best thing to do, but it was an option. I decided to exercise that one. So now I'm going to clear out this junk that's around the tongue here. get a logging chain around this jack. Since the wheel's shot, I don't think I can do any more damage to it. So I guess when we were moving it with the grapple, the wheel wasn't turning, so it decided to fold over. So, don't feel anything real solid there other than the wheel, but that isn't going to move until I get it chained up. Let's put the chain around there. That shouldn't slip off. Then gonna have to let's not try a knot. That would be a good thing. So what we'll have to do, take up some of the slack. Just wrap it around here. Doesn't are so tight. Then we'll come and use that hook there. We'll lift and somehow get this out of here. I guess maybe what I should do, leave the chain like that. Move the tractor back, move you guys, then when I get it hooked up, I'll show you. Well, it's out of the spot, but it's going to plow a trench to wherever I haul it to. So I'm going to have to re-rig this chain somehow so I can get a little more lift on this front end. So let's see what we can do. Well, that's not very pretty, but I think it'll move the 50-60 yards it needs to without digging into the dirt too much. Let's see.
Try to do some of the final movement using the pallet forks, kind of pushing it back towards that brush pile. That way if I do decide to use it for hunting this year, deer aren't going to come out behind me unless they're way behind those pines. Come out through into the pasture, but this isn't a real good spot anymore since we're going to be cutting. Probably not going to have a whole lot of movement through here this fall. So we'll probably be in the tree stands further back in the woods, but at least this is out of the way. Another reason I'm moving it is, I don't know if you can get an idea how big some of these aspens are, but they're well past their past due date. I always figured I was going to come out here after a windstorm or a big snowstorm and find them laying on top of the blind. Just for example, you can see the trunk of this one. We got to be at least 24 inches. That's a big old aspen there. And a few other ones here are already looking rough. So this area's got to be thinned out to get some of these dead aspens out. There's some two big ones back there. So this isn't a healthy spot for the blind. Deer hunting's supposed to be relaxing, not sitting there waiting for a tree to fall on your head. Alright, let's go see if we can push that blind back up towards that brush pile. Remember folks, this is entertainment. I'm not giving anybody advice on how to do this stuff. You do this sort of thing with your tractor and a trailer and a hunting blind. It's all on your own risk. Any of these moves could have gone ugly. I know that. That's why I'm going slow. So take that information as you would. Don't try this at home. It's for your entertainment purposes. And let's see if we can shove this back in towards the brush pile a little bit. Get it out of our way. back in. Put the chairs back in there. I'll leave the one that the porcupine left the calling card on out in front. But out of the way. Pack a little more brush in behind it as I'm clearing things out. That way nothing creeps in behind. Deer either have to come through the pasture or way back in the woods, and they wouldn't have been able to see them anyhow. This is a good spot for now. Okay.